Hello and welcome to another set of turns of Dominion 6. I am the False God. We are jumping in on turn 57 of our Pyrene game. And let's see what we got. Many more Infernal Crusades. Svapsu, Dark Knowledge found a Leperfens. That's a nice little three gem site. It does have disease, but we don't really have anything we have to do in this province, so we can avoid it. Don't look at me. Cookies misses. Miss. Blood Vortex made 70 blood slaves. I don't remember. I think I already discussed this, but it's hard to remember what I've talked about. Blood Vortex does scale off population, so it's very nice to be able to cast this in your capital and when you have done things like fecundity and have other growth scales. We got a water elemental from that event from last turn. We've got a false prophet, and the snake charmer has left us. So another really quiet turn. We're kind of in a holding pattern while we get our demonic forces together, and then look to go eat Ulm. It would also be nice to get to, to consider taking a bite out of Zan if we could get people with us. We could attack Man. I don't know if Man is quite in. There's a Garth attacking Man. We could attack Man. I think that Kidson would lose it. There would be much displeasure, which I mean would be fine, but I don't really feel the need to join in and fight them while they're currently fighting 3 other players. So really the question is just, I just want to make sure I don't get stabbed by Nabah when I go to do something. But we're building up, more demonic forces. We've got an 80, 90 Demon Knights. That is a lot of Demon Knights. That is very fun. I don't know exactly. I have a lot less experience in these sort of really late games. It's even really late, right? It's turn like 57. But as the game gets later, my experience with it gets less and less. I don't know how many Demon Knights it makes sense to put in as part of like like if you're like a main battle army, right? Because like you don't, obviously you need to put enough mages there that you're going to support them. So the mage commitment is going to be heavy. And so you don't want to undercount on the troops. But I don't know if I don't know, like, is 100 the right number? Is 200 the right number? 300 sounds like a lot. So I don't know. Obviously it all depends on what your opponent's doing too, but I'm not too sure what the right number of Demon Knights in a particular army is. Because I think most of our army is going to be Demon Knights, as well as like some miscellaneous flyers to potentially mess with people, and some Evo chaff, etc. But I think our plan is that the Demon Knights are going to be the main core, especially after we manage to lose all of our sacreds like an idiot. So that's always fun. More Infernal Crusade, and then some more Dark Knowledge and some more Voice of Apsu. Is this the same turn? Did I already do 57? Now I'm concerned. No, because we found a new site. The turn looks so similar that I was concerned for a moment there. Yeah, we're gonna make some dream spools. That is the glamour temp gen item, which is really nice. Another temp gem item, and assassin stuff. We definitely, if we do have to fight Nabah at some point in the future, it's gonna be really nice to be able to at least put some assassin pressure back on them, even if we're much worse at it. But Slave's Heart and a Ring of Returning. So yeah, another pretty quiet turn, sort of all told. And to be honest, we may have another bunch of those for the near future as we kind of wait out what's going on. So we'll go ahead and go to 58. I do think that I could have been more aggressive, although it's always easy to say that in retrospect. And we are still, I will say, yeah, I have a bad habit of being like, well, I can just wait for the next thing, right? We put so much research into these Demon Knights, right, that we're probably behind. And as we saw on the turn with Eyes of God up, right, we're in third at best on research, and so many of our RP is currently in these Demon Knights. I would really like to get some of the 8s in enchantment and alteration, to sort of really have that late game magic before I go and fight someone, but we'll see. Lots of crusading, miss on all our sites. We got a bottle of living water. That's a really nice item. It pairs very well with the black heart we made last turn. Some extra money. Cold is up. That's usually good for us, although the unrest is obviously bad. And people feeling don't worry, we dealt with the Rimjarsar. They're dead. There's no reason to be afraid. Our scout got killed, which is fine. You can see we're busy picking. We picked up this permanent water elemental, which is pretty neat. Not nearly as good as it used to be. One of the nice things about having the permanent water elemental in like Dominions 5 was that they, I believe, are not they're not undisciplined or anything, so you could really make sure to buff it. With spirit form now, that's not nearly as much of a thing. So bit too bad there. No troops really doing anything. We're just continuing to hunt and continuing to kind of scale up. I'm trying to remember if this eventually, so we got into a really bad pattern of having like a week per turn, and I personally am just terrible at playing with a week per turn. I just get very disconnected from the game, and so I think part of this sort of malaise a bit too is that's part of it. Dark Knowledge, Voice of Apsu, more Infernal Crusading, and there's our Versed Raven's Feast. So we'll see how many gems we get. Where is he casting? Casting it on 82. So we need to move this army soon. We can't see how many corpses there are, but we did kill 330 filthy brigands, so we'll see how many we get. There's our Dreamstones, a lantern, Slave's Heart, Winged Helmet, Crown of Command. This Winged Helmet plus the Staff of Elemental Mastery will let us do 2 Raven's Feasts a turn to really get our death income online. It's also, I mean, it's picked up. We are searching, so lot to like there, right? These Raven's Feasts are going to turn on the death gems. In addition to having them now, they're going to let us do more remote casts, of Dark Knowledge to find even more. So hopefully we'll have a bit of a virtuous cycle there. We also at some point need to cast a Blood Fortress here. It's currently very pocket and safe, but obviously that's something that needs to happen eventually. But yeah, another very quiet turn. I don't want to dwell too much on these turns where we're not doing a lot. I'd like to get us back to turns where something is happening, or at least more is happening. We traded gems to Man. I can't remember what we sent him. Might have been death. No, definitely wasn't death gems. Might have been earth gems or nature gems. Can't recall. You can see this Raven's Feast though. We got 18 death gems, right? So we used, admittedly, in this case, it was our god turn, but he didn't necessarily have anything else to do. We used our god turn, and we turned 3 air gems into 18 death gems. So we spent our god turn to be plus 15 gems, which is definitely worth it. That's a huge number of gems. So very happy with that. Now, we're not going to get an 18 result every round. So corpses decay over time, but they do still build up a bit. They don't all decay in one turn. So the fact that we hadn't done it before means that there were more corpses there from several turns of blood hunting, whereas that will not be the case next time, or at least not in that province. Here we found another 2 death gems, so that's great. We found a tar pits, which I think is another fire. Don't do that. Another fire. That's great. He missed. A lot of blood hunting. Someone attempted to assassinate us. Let's see what we got here. Assassinating our vampire lord. I think we should be okay. Give him another good whack. I know this is the kind of compelling gameplay everyone's coming here for. Okay, our vampire, unsurprisingly, is fine. We get another attempted assassination. All right, here we go. Ackerbelts with a table. Yes, good. Don't hit the table. The table is not your friend. Now, eventually they changed this, and maybe it's already happened, so that you can't target leeching touch. I believe it's been fixed. You can't target leeching touch on the table. So the way we lost one earlier should hopefully go away. He did get hit though, but he's fine. He's fine as well. Another bottle of living water. That's very nice. You can see we did get some priests out here, because we are losing the Dominion War, which is unfortunate, or at least we're losing it to Zan. We're busy winning it against Nabah, which I don't, Nabah's also busy fighting. I don't really care. Oh, look at the trolls. It's funny. Okay, let's see what else we got. Augury, Dark Knowledge, Voice of Apsu, another 4 Crusades, and 2 Raven's Feast now. So hopefully get our Death Gems really going up. We're doing 1 Dark Knowledge here. These guys should be doing Dark Knowledge. Researching, I think, is not worth it. Should have done. Unless we already cleared. I guess we cleared a lot of our stuff. No, they could have hit this one. Should have Dark Knowledge here, although it is a plains or a farmland, but 3, 9. Yeah, we probably could have made more Dark Knowledges happen there. So I think that's a bit of a waste. Bit too bad. But let's check our we now have a very, very large number. 50, 45, 45, 20. So what do we got? 90, 110, 160, 170 Demon Knights. We really need to go and we should be going and doing something with these Demon Knights. I'm currently collecting them like someone collects Beanie Babies. And we should probably be going to put these out in the field. I believe, like I said earlier, what I'm waiting for is I want to finish Enchantment 7, which we're going to do this turn. And I'm going to hope that I went back in here and correctly put in that I want alt. Enchantment 8 is going to make our lives a lot easier in terms of being able to cast Firefend, Thunderfend, Frostfend, right? Cover all of our resistances, as well as army regen for everybody to have it. Obviously, it's just so much more efficient and easier on the number of casters you need to cast army regen and not to have to cast, a whole bunch of mass regen. So that's pretty nice. Soaring Army is fine. And we may at points get to use it. My guess, though, is we will not really get the opportunity. I think everyone, by the time it comes online, should probably have Storm Staffs or a Storm Caster available to really limit the use of Soaring Army. So I don't expect we're going to... I think it is a good spell. If nobody counters it, it's amazing. I expect our opponents will know about it and counter it. Void Pattern Labyrinth is a new one, and it's interesting. I don't think we're currently in need of doing it, but we could... It could be worth casting it. We don't have a caster unless our god can do it, which I don't think he has Glamour. Yeah, no. We don't have a caster. But if we had one, it could be interesting to put all of our horror marked guys who from the use of lanterns in to help protect them. But the rest of this stuff, Dragon Master is still comically, in my mind, late. I don't know if it's overcosted per se. Right, each of the dragon spells theoretically, right, is worth like each dragon is worth like 6 to 7 gems, like the big ones are the better ones, right? Like no, okay. Fire Drake is 6, Frost Drake I think is, or Ice Drake is 7. So like, you know, you only have to cast it 3 or 4 times, like 4 times, right? You sort of gotten your money back, maybe 5, gotten your money back. It's just that it's so late in the tree that, you know, by the time you get it, with the exception of the Zamaze, obviously for Roos and the Roos line, the units have kind of all fallen off, right? Nobody is, or at least maybe I'm wrong here, but I don't think anybody tends to be very afraid of the Drakes by the time 8s are, you know, research level 8s are rolling around. And not to mention, right, being a glamour mage is going to limit this, of course, right? You have to actually be a glamour mage, and there are no glamour Drake summons. I don't think. And so you're going to need to be glamour and have access to, you know, fire or water or whatever, maybe nature for the poison ones, you know, whatever it is you think you need, but you're going to have to have access to another path as well to actually cast it. But theoretically, you know, if you can cast it, right, Dragon Mastery 2, and then you pick up, what is it, Control A? Yeah. So that's Dragon Mastery 2, you pick up the Dragon Scepter, Dragon Mastery 3, and then the Dragon Hat, Dragon Mastery 4. You know, you're getting 5 Drakes for 6 or 7 gems. Like, it's a really good value. I just think that they mostly, especially being undisciplined, I think they mostly don't do that much. Certainly for main army fights, maybe they can, you know, help you raid. I don't know. I do think, I really wish that there was more to be done with the sort of dragon mastery element of the game. I think it's like a really cool sort of idea. I just think it's a little underdeveloped. We almost in, let's see, in one of the Disciples, or one of the games I played, yeah, it was a Tubbs game, I played in Dominions 5 in DE. DE added more things to be Drakes, and in particular, for they made Mushushu Drakes. And I tried to pitch my whole build was based on summoning a whole bunch of Mushushu, particularly with my god, but also with others, because you were getting eventually a rate of like each Mushushu was 1 gem, which obviously was like a 90 HP ball of sacred with fear and all kinds of crap. But we didn't go with it. It didn't work out. It was too bad. But anyway, Dragon Master, probably not something that we're going to be doing. long way to talk about that. The other one, obviously, that'd be nice, is Alteration. It'd be nice to finish off Aerofen just in case. It's not huge, but it's there. Crawl can be surprisingly effective against enemies. It is a bit expensive, right? It only hits, 6+, and it is MR negates, so you kind of want to have it with somebody with pen. Water isn't really our strong suit either, but it is a big debuff, and if they do get hit with it, they don't ever recover, I don't think. Fog Warrior is huge, although Army of Mist is better, of course. Wave Warriors is really interesting. Obviously, taking away 4 strength is pretty unfortunate. I feel like often in Dominion's endgame, right, the units have so many buffs that taking away strength is pretty rough. But you can do things right where maybe your center is really good at holding the line, and all they have to do is hold the line, and you give them Wave Warriors, and then maybe your flanks are buffed with more attack, or are not given this buff, and so they can try and chew through. So it can definitely have its uses, although again, water isn't really our strong suit. Phoenix Pyre helps like our raiding game maybe. Will of the Fates is nice. Bone Grinding Traps, not something we're really good at now, but something eventually to think about. Creeping Doom can be really fun. It's a lot of extra effects, a lot of little idiots to put on the map to tie down elites just in terms of having to whack things a bunch. Army of Shades is a nice little debuff on the enemy. And then 8 would be nice for Army of Mist and Quickening mostly. We already have access, but more access is fine to the other buffs. Marble Army is big. So a lot of good stuff. Army of Giants, like I mentioned before. It'd be really nice to be able to go into war with Enchantment 8, Alt 8, and with all my Demon Knights, I'd feel very comfortable. So that's kind of where I'm at on our timing, at least my intended timing. I'm started to make. I made a rabbit foot charm. Watching these, I'm always like, I have some of the right ideas, but I'm also doing everything too slowly, right? The point of the rabbit charm is to make sure that I don't get hit with, so let me take a step back. A concern I have at this stage of the game is not only whoever we're attacking having something like an Idol of Sorcery or a Monolith, but also other people just might murk out the service, right? Might just sell the service. And our plan to beat that is, of course, to banish it to hell, right? With our Infernal whatever. But if the opponent is faster, right? If they've got like innate casting and they disrupt the spell with something like a Bone Grinding, that could be really, really bad. So this Rabbit's Foot Charm gives Twist Fate and prevents you from taking that initial hit, so we can make sure to get our cast off. So it's going to insulate our armies for the most part from those kinds of super combatant or god drop shenanigans. So definitely something I want to have for these fights, and maybe we're doing it in enough time here as we're not fighting yet, but probably want another couple, because I think each army probably wants 2. I think each army probably wants minimum 2 Infernal Prison Casters in the first round, and so those also need the Blood Pendant to make sure that they can catch the god who's sitting on the back line. So yeah, trying to learn from past mistakes here, and build an army that's going to be able to fight effectively and not get cheesed. That's the dream, is not getting cheesed. But other than that, we're gonna make bunch more Demonic Knights, and eventually at some point we'll probably make more of these statues and cubes as well. So, all right. I think we're at a good stopping point. It is, turn 59. Thanks, everyone, for joining me. Hope to see you all in the next one, and have a great day.